Okay, so portal time, and we have some news that a guy that many of you know, after spending one semester at Ole Miss, he is coming back, most likely to Michigan, but as a wide receiver. TJ, what do you make of that? And what might have gone on there at Ole Miss to make him want to flip to full on wide receiver position at Michigan?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously we're looking for the big body X, and he fits it perfectly. The only concern with Amorion Walker is his hands, the consistency with his hands, because he has everything else. He has the speed, he has the athleticism. So I guess Michigan was back channeling this for some time now, and they got Amorion to commit. Basically, I mean, he hasn't committed yet, but essentially agree to entering the portal, and he's here now. Ole Miss tried very hard this past weekend because it actually went a little national that he was going to enter the portal on Friday. A bunch of major outlets had it. And even though don't forget, we had it on Tuesday. Don't forget that. But so word is Ole Miss gave their best attempt to offer some McDonald's bags, and to no avail. He entered the portal about like 2 hours ago. So he's in the portal. I would say very confidently he will be rocking maize and blue next season. And he's one of the wide receivers that they're looking to add this portal cycle. And I also want to add, because I was thinking about this, I don't know if a lot of people know this, the portal closes tomorrow, which is one, good for us, but two, that doesn't mean you can't get kids who are already in the portal. It just means you cannot enter the portal. So even if the portal closes, don't get too concerned about Michigan just yet, because they can still get people who are already in there.
Yeah, we need help at wide receiver. I'm super happy about this. So yeah, kind of looking through all the position groups, that is probably the area that be and any gain in wide receiver is good. We need help. We need to make it easy for our quarterbacks to have a margin of error when they throw the ball. We need our quarterbacks to get 60. We need, if Orgy's a starter, I think our consensus between the three of us is 60, 65%. That's what 62. Orgy needs to throw, right? Is that what?
62. That's my number.
Yeah, that's your number. Okay. So we need to creep into the 60s. How do we do that? Well, if there is some margin for error, the wide receivers can help us achieve that number.
Absolutely.
I know there's some talk about Samaj Morgan. I would say he just didn't get played. I'm not really that worried about it. I don't know if either of you are about him. He just didn't get played in the spring game because he's going to have a spot, is the way I took it.
Well, so I don't know if it's that. I think it could be a chemistry thing. You're playing with different quarterbacks. You're also playing with, like, it's not even first unit. Like, it's like a bunch of guys mixed together, first and second unit. I don't put anything on it. It's one session out of 15, like we've talked about previously. I think Samaj is going to have a very prominent role. I do think consistency is going to be key for him. It's his sophomore year. But my concern level for Samaj is not high at all. I think, and also he will get better this offseason. He's a young player. He'll add weight. He'll get faster and stronger. So we'll see what he can do.
My dream scenario here is that Amorion Walker and Frederick Moore have this battle in fall camp. And then one of them is going to win. What if Frederick Moore beats out Amorion Walker? I'm just throwing it out there. Yeah. I'm very high on that guy.
Yeah,
and
you
I
are.
think I am.
It's okay.
But either way, iron sharpens iron. That's the mentality of Michigan, and they're going to battle. So somebody's going to win, probably Walker, but
maybe
the best three people will be in those positions.
That's right. Yeah, no, John is leading the Fred Moore train. You heard it here first. Okay, so if Fred Moore does become a guy next season, John's the guy to give credit to. But I think you're right. I mean, it's more competition, and let the best man win. I don't think just because Amorion Walker comes here, he's handed the position. I don't think that's the case at all. I think the truth is Amorion likes Michigan. I think he wanted to play offense more than defense, but they moved him to defense last season. So Now he gets his opportunity, and we'll see what he can do with it.
And we do have a super chat from Drufus. Thank you, Drufus, for that. Start. I'm assuming this means Warren. Start Warren. There's your 62.
62%.
But then he doesn't have the legs. Like the whole point of 62 is that, you know, Alex Orji isn't just a pocket passer. He's also a dynamic runner. And I know that Davis Warren can run. I'm not saying he can't run. And I don't want anybody to think I'm hating on Davis Warren again here. I know I got some flack for that. But I think the number would have to be a little higher if Davis Warren was going to be the guy.
Yeah, I think we have to be realistic. I mean, JJ was at 72, if I recall correctly. Yeah. There is going to be regret. We're talking about the best Michigan quarterback of all time, ever. Including Tom Brady, including
Jim
Harbaugh himself. Right? So there's going to be some regression from that. Yeah. You know, I think what you're saying is ideally Orji if Orji is the quarterback, he's running around, but he's also able to get to 62% when he does throw. If there's more of a traditional passer, maybe a few ticks higher, let's say 65 would be reasonable. 65. Right. Yeah.
That's 65. So anything above 65 is considered good. Anything below 65 is when it starts to get questionable. Anything below 60 is bad, and there is a lot of that in college football. So, yeah, I think Davis Warren, my number for him would be 65 with you, Ferris, and then 62 for Orji. And then Dependent Fanatic, lock Amorion Walker in. He's going to be a Michigan Wolverine, dude. Woo! I would say I'm 98% sure about that.
I need to get the lock emoji up here when he says lock it in for Michigan there. That's exciting. That's a big. I mean, we've been talking a lot about the people leaving the portal. It's nice that we're starting to see players now coming to Michigan a little bit more in the portal as well. And one of them is Dominic Zavada, who I had never heard of before. Full disclosure, I don't follow a lot of Arkansas State. Forgive me. But apparently he's pretty good, really good. And he just has decided to go to Michigan. And Michigan kind of, I mean, I know you don't want to read too much into the spring game. I get that. But I think Michigan kind of needed a kicker. So, TJ, what do you make of that pickup?
Yeah, so by all accounts, they were not happy with the kicking battle in spring camp. It was a little too inconsistent for them. So they went portal shopping, and they got a kicker who was on the Lou Graza Award for his freshman year. So he also has 2 more years of eligibility, which is huge. We also play Arkansas State next season, so that'll be kind of funny. Yeah, dude, this kid is legit, man. He's hitting 50-yarders. You can depend on him. His numbers are good, you know. So this is a major get for us. Like, this is one of those things where, you know, you asked me, John, I don't know if it was last show or not. You're like, is Michigan a national championship contender? Well, getting a guy like this helps that cause, because you need a kicker you can rely on in big moments. Ask Ohio State. So I think it's a big bonus for us, and you know, let's hopefully they keep going with the portal.
Yeah, the ball's on the 30-yard line, and it's 4th and 2. You don't have quorum. You know, what do you do? You know, so that this helps with that decision. You know, I think we had it good with Jake Moody for a while there, so that was good. Northville, Michigan's own Jake Moody. That's where I have been for 20 years plus. So you know, a lot of coaches, a lot of fans really discount the kicker, but a kicker can make the difference. Ohio State could have a championship 2 years ago if a kick goes good, right? So.
If not for Jake Moody, who the hell knows how 2022 could have gone, but probably not as well.
Yeah. So that you know, that 4th and 2, 4th and 3, ball on the 30, you know, make it easy to say that, hey, we've got a 90% shot at hitting the field goal. Let's take the field goal. You know, if that's what we need to do. You know, I think being a Lions fan, I know that they're very aggressive with that.
Yeah.
but sometimes you just have to take the points, especially early in the games, things like that. And I think kickers, from an analytics standpoint, if you're 5% better as a kicker, that can make a win or loss difference, in a close game. So you really have to value that.
Absolutely. Well, we talked about the sunshine and rainbows. Now we got to talk about the other side. So DJ Waller entered the portal, and he's leaving, and I forget, have they named the school yet for him, or for DJ?
No, he hasn't committed yet, but he's going to Kentucky. All indications are he's going to Kentucky.
That's right.
Kentucky definitely did some tampering, and word on the street is actually there was a player on Kentucky. I'm not gonna say his name. There's a player on Kentucky who made that situation a little more I don't know, more fast moving, I guess. But whatever. I mean, it is what it is. It sucks though, because he was going to compete for CB2, and it sucks, man. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, this one hurts. This is one of those ones that does hurt. This isn't a playing time thing. This isn't all right. So I'll say this though. Kentucky's gonna pay him double what he was making at Michigan. That's what they're offering him at Kentucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back to I think it was our last show, we were kind of gushing a little bit about him, and I was like, "Whoa, he's tall." I didn't realize, So, yeah, this hurt a lot. What's frustrating is this isn't quarterback where, quarterback with a Q. This isn't where one player gets picked, and if you're not the starter, you don't. There's a chance you might not play at all. This is a rotation, and it's so it is frustrating from that standpoint. But if you got double the money, I guess you can understand where he's going then, because it's not. It's not to play against the best and win games. It's
Here's what I don't get, guys. Here's what I don't get. Okay, I understand if Georgia is outbidding Michigan. Okay, Georgia won the last 2 national championships before Michigan's. I get that, but you're taking the money when you would have started at a program, or probably would have started CB2 at a program that just won the title, is probably going to go 10 wins in 2024 and be somewhere in the playoff conversation. Kentucky probably isn't even going to make the 12-team playoff. They're probably going to go like 7 or 8 wins. I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I mean, we don't know. I'm not going to talk in absolutes or anything, but I mean, obviously it's a financial decision. We don't know what he's going through. I mean, I know Michigan wasn't willing to bargain with them. They weren't willing to raise the price because they don't want to set a precedence where every time a kid comes with a higher offer that they got to match it all the time, because that's how you create a toxic culture.
Yep.
They're not trying to do that, so it's I mean, it just is what it is. I mean, the kid hasn't started before. He's getting the money he's getting. So whatever.
Yeah. And maybe Jair Hill, has just put in enough work where, they could be okay with him being CB2. And so, if they didn't have Jair Hill as a potential other option, that might have been a different conversation about matching the NIL, or at the very least, going up a bit. But like, Jair Hill looks like he could potentially take that role, right?
Yeah, it was neck and neck. I don't think either one won the battle yet. I think they were both going to compete, and maybe they would do a rotation. I mean, look, like Ferris said, you basically have 3 corners, not including the nickel either. I'm talking about just outside corners. You typically rotate 3 of them. So hopefully we can land a corner in the portal. We'll see. I don't, we'll see what they can do.
Yeah. And we had some others, not as some of these people. I do remember talking about Jeremiah Beasley just not that long ago in the recruiting conversation. And now he's potentially going to Missouri. Amir Henning is potentially going to Kansas, and then just an hour or two ago, Samaj Bridgman. So it looks like I still say this is nowhere near the catastrophe that people were saying, like non-Michigan fans, like, maybe even a couple in the chat, we don't know. But they were saying, Mason Graham was going to go, and Will Johnson was going to go, and instead it was, okay, yeah, Keon Sabb, that one hurt, DJ Waller, that one hurt, but yet you have other players that are like that's a very different, when almost all of the players going are freshmen or sophomore or people that aren't really impact except for 2 or 3 players. I think this is nowhere near the earthquake, tsunami, catastrophe that others were predicting for Michigan. I don't know. Maybe I'm putting sunshine on it, but I don't think so. I think this is better than I expected it to go. TJ, thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's better or worse than I expected. I honestly, I never thought it was going to be bad. I never thought it was going to be like some exodus like everyone wanted it to be. More hopes and wishes. I always tell them all the time, you're hoping and wishing, dude. Like, our rival fans seem to have a lot of hopes and wishes, but yeah, I mean, the Keon Sabb one sucks. I just wish he would have freaking waited till the end of the spring, because then he would have saw right. So Keon Sabb, that's not about NIL. That was about playing time.
Yep.
And man, it would have been nice to have him.
Yeah, not even the end of spring. If he had waited, like, I don't know, when did the injury happen? Like 6 days later or something?
Yeah, within the week. So
yeah,
it is what it is, man. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, so really, Keon Sabb, DJ Waller is the ones that hurt the most. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else that really sucks. I think that's maybe it off the top of my head. It is what it is. Hopefully we can patch some holes with some portal options.
You didn't mention Zeke Berry. Zeke Berry is looked pretty good, right? So far.
Yes.
So
yeah, really good. Why Kansas?
Yeah, I don't know. So I know why Mizzou for Beasley. I don't know why
I can kind of get Mizzou. Yeah.
Yeah. So Mizzou is for those who don't know, they actually have a pretty damn good NIL situation at Missouri. So initially in the high school portion of Beasley's recruitment, they were offering him a good amount of money, and Michigan was not. And he still came to Michigan because of Chris Partridge. Okay. So Chris Partridge, when he was here, unfortunately he was let go.
Yes.
For stupid ass reasons. If people don't know, we don't gotta get into it, but stupid ass reasons. But so he was Chris Partridge. Beasley was Chris Partridge's number 1 recruit. That's why he decided to come here, because Chris Partridge told him, "Hey, you're the guy I want to build the defense around, whatever." So I guess he didn't jive with Brian Jean-Marie, and I know Brian Jean-Marie. He likes the Junior Colson types. He actually recruited Junior Colson when he was here, and Beasley's a little bit thinner, more athletic, or I don't want to say athletic, but like maybe more twitchy. But
yeah.
So it is what it is. Mizzou they have a very, very, very competitive NIL. So it is what it is. Kansas, I don't know. I don't know what the connection is there.
Moose did bring up, and I do agree that, while playing time was I think that was the primary driver of Keon Sabb, but he did get a new Mercedes, as a lot. Yeah. Remember, Nick Saban owns a fleet of Mercedes dealerships. So they can just go ahead and give someone a car, and it's pretty easy to facilitate that. So Keon Sabb, but like, would a Mercedes be enough to? Well, I don't know, man, because I feel like he could get a dealership deal at Michigan too.
He could, but here's the deal: Michigan actually offered him more money than Alabama did.
Wow.
So Michigan offered more money to Keon Sabb than Alabama. That's how I know it isn't strictly financial. He went there strictly for playing time because Rod Moore was going to be playing, guys. That's so you got to think of it from Keon Sabb's perspective.
Right.
He's like, I got Rod Moore here, who's like going to be an All-American, right? My playing time's going to be nil, right? And plus, you got to remember
this too. Unless he took a Sanders still role as nickelback, he could have been the nickelback, couldn't he?
Maybe, but I don't think. To be honest, though, so he would actually play more of a dime backer role, which is more limited. So It's like a Jordan Morant when he was here, and then he previously transferred to Florida. So it's a more limited role. Yeah, so unfortunately, the timing just was what it was. And if Rod Moore did not get injured, I feel very confident he would have stayed here at Michigan because it wasn't money. Like, it just wasn't. It was literally playing time.